Indian food is often misunderstood as a singular cuisine, but in truth, it's one of the most diverse culinary traditions in the world. Layered with nostalgia and regional identity, centuries of technique along with deeply personal stories and family legacies carried on through recipes and flavors. At Saffron Valley, founder Lavanya Mahate has spent the last 16 years introducing and inviting Utah into that experience. What began as a small Indian street food restaurant in South Jordan has since grown into a collection of distinct spaces across the Wasatch Front, each one inspired by a different memory, region, or feeling from her upbringing in India. From bustling spice markets and colonial influences to train stations and neighborhood cafes, every location tells its own story. But for Lavanya, Indian food has never just been about eating. It's about people and nourishing them. It's about educating the palate through the slow toasting of spices, the layering depths of flavor and texture, and the warmth of food prepared with intention and shared in community. Under Lavanya, Saffron Valley has become more than a restaurant group. It's become a celebration of culture, hospitality, and connection, one that continues to evolve while staying deeply rooted in tradition. We explore the story, flavors, and soul behind Saffron Valley this week on Taste Utah. We sat down with Lavanya Mahate at her Sugar House location to reflect on the journey to building Saffron Valley, which began long before the restaurants. Raised in southern India, she came to Utah in 2001, continued her education at the University of Utah, and slowly began reconnecting with a passion that had followed her since childhood: food, hospitality, and caring for others through nourishment. What started with spice blends at a local farmer's market eventually grew into one of Utah's most beloved Indian restaurant groups. And today, that mission extends far beyond the dining room, empowering and training others through food, community, and opportunity.
It's been a journey for sure. Started my first Saffron Valley restaurant in 2011 in South Jordan, and I named it Saffron Valley Indian Street Foods. There was Northern Indian food and Southern Indian food, a few restaurants doing that, but nobody brought all of the different regions from east to south to west to north.
I think what sometimes people miss about Indian food is that it's so dynamic and there are so many different kinds of regional cuisine.
Absolutely, yes. So there's 28 states in India, and each state has their own cuisine, has their own language, has their own dress culture. And so given the depth and the breadth of the diversity in India, the food has to be very diverse as well, and it's very regional, and every family has their own recipe for their favorite curries. So it's hard to capture all of it, but I think I attempted in just bringing different regions.
That was the original intention, was you just wanted to offer people something that maybe they had never tasted before.
It really excited the Indian people living here already, because it was nostalgia for them to eat the street foods and the Indo-Chinese, which we love, but also it was new offerings for the local people here. So that was the beginning of Saffron Valley. People would come from University of Utah, downtown, all the way to South Jordan. And you hear people saying, you should start one downtown, or you should start one up at the university. So I looked for a space, and after about 6 months, I found this pagoda restaurant.
That's the perfect location.
It was beautiful, yes. So it had this traditional Japanese design, and although I couldn't change the structure of it, I thought, how else can I recreate Indian food in this space? So I named it Saffron Valley Colonial East India Food, because I think the woods and the darker woods and the screens and everything lent itself well for a colonial India feel. That was 2013. Oh my gosh. 2 years later.
And then what happened? Which location comes next?
Yeah, this one where we are at right now. It was 2017. When we signed up to get this is when the previous owner at Pagoda decided to sell that. So we ended up acquiring both properties. So it was a lot.
Did you open the cafe at the same time?
No.
Or that came later?
Yeah. We wanted to do that as phase 2. So it was just a space, and then we used it for storage for some time.
And then 2020 happened.
Yeah, and then COVID happened.
So by 2020, you have a total of 7 restaurants that you're overseeing?
Yes. When we say by 2020, I actually think I had opened the one in London.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I was traveling back and forth to London since 2016, 2017, and London has some of the best Indian food in the world. And I learned so much just by being there and meeting with other chefs and restaurant owners. So I wanted to do a location in London.
Oh my gosh.
And it was amazing. It was opened by one of the Master Chef finalists, Santosha, opened the restaurant.
Wow.
The food was immaculate, nicely presented, and all the flavors. The restaurant was beautiful. But we opened on March 13th, and the world shut down on March 16th.
Oh my
So I took
gosh.
the last flight back from London to Utah. It was such a beautiful experience, kind of seeing how we can hone our own skills, elevate, our understanding and experience of Indian food, and to do it, a little bit better than what I was used to.
Where have you gone from there?
COVID was a transformational time, both
Yeah.
for restaurants as well as personally.
Yeah.
I've had some life transformations, transitions as well, where having so many restaurants, I knew that there was a shortage of labor and like a real lack of trained, skilled chefs, especially because our cuisine is Indian cuisine, ethnic cuisine. It's hard to find people who do that.
Right.
So I wanted to train people locally to be able to cook Indian food and to work in our restaurants. And along the same time, Asha Parekh, director of Utah Refugee Center, she approached me, and she was also trying to do a kitchen to provide vocational training for refugee women and men, I want to say at the time. And she asked me if we would like to be an operational partner. I said, that's exactly my vision, and let's collaborate, because I think a lot of my projects have always been collaborative, and
Yes.
I see the power in unity and bringing different strengths together. That was supposed to be at the Salt Lake Community College at the Meadowbrook campus, but the college sold the building and Boyer Company took over. So there was like change, and then I said, okay, we will do it here at Saffron Valley, just behind the storage space.
Yeah.
And then we built the kitchen behind, which is the Rice Culinary
And that's
Institute.
what we saw earlier
Yes.
today, and it was so amazing to see these incredible students. You really have operationalized that space in such a meaningful way, and then you're training these students around Indian cuisine. Is that correct?
It's actually 3 months of hands-on French classical training.
Oh,
They learn
wow.
everything from sauces to knife skills to desserts, and they do have some international cooking as well, but it's really not Indian cooking.
Okay,
yeah.
so the model has shifted a little bit now
Yeah.
to where it's
Absolutely.
not necessarily about feeding your
Yeah.
restaurants,
Yeah.
though at one point it may have
That
been
was
that.
my idea initially,
Yeah.
but then it has evolved. And so now, the program is focused on providing hands-on culinary training, 3 months, from everything from sauces to knife skills to desserts and some international cooking. And we have been able to employ a couple of them in the last year, but it's really for us to place them at different restaurant partners and hospitality industry for them to
Amazing.
find.
And it's amazing. And you can just tell, I mean, we were celebrating the instructor's birthday today, but you can tell that it creates this family unity, which is so lovely and really is I think the heart and cornerstone of every restaurant. Every restaurant has their own culture, their own back and front of the house connection and community. And when we work in the industry, we become family with our peers, because we're not necessarily celebrating those big holidays with our loved ones. We're celebrating those big holidays with now people that we do love as well. It's like a second family. So it was really fun to see you creating that space, yes, in the culinary school, but I can only imagine that that's also part of the culture and the mission of Saffron Valley, generally speaking.
Absolutely.
We're back on Taste Utah at Saffron Valley and Sugar House, learning that founder Lavanya Mahate's story is one of constant evolution, not only as a restaurateur, but as a woman learning to trust her intuition, embrace creativity, and build spaces where people feel seen, welcomed, and cared for. In many ways, that spirit is infused into every corner of Saffron Valley.
I was born in the southern state of Andhra Pradesh in South India, in a small town called Kakinada. And both my grandparents were businessmen, successful businessmen who started from the scratch and, gained respect and influence in the community. So I saw that. I loved hanging out in the kitchen when I was 6 years old, and my mentor is really Kantama, who was our kitchen help. She used to teach me how to make sweets and spice blends, and after I come back from school, it gets ingrained in our psyche very early on as to what it is that we love. And I was 6 and clearly, primed for, my love for food back then. I always loved feeding people, serving people, and they would give me appreciation. I think so. I felt a taste of that success too very early on. But then I moved to the U.S. in Utah in 2001.
Okay.
When I came here, I had just then finished my master's from Symbiosis University in Pune.
Wow.
And I was very eager to get into the workforce.
Okay.
But since because of my dependent visa status, I couldn't work. And so I went to the University of Utah, did another master's program in integrated marketing communication.
Wow. So just continuing to educate yourself while still stoking and cultivating this desire to cook and to nourish people and to feed people, which
that
is
was
really
more
special.
Absolutely. And I didn't think of it as a career back then. It was more like something I loved to do.
Yeah.
And then after that, I volunteered at the Salt Lake Chamber of Commerce for 2 years.
Okay.
And then they sponsored my visa. I was working there for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 2010. Can I get you some naan?
I mean, sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Beautiful.
And then, I started a line of spice blends and had them at the farmer's market in 2010. That was my first foray into pursuing my own passion and checking out the food. And
Beautiful.
it didn't just come like that too. It took me several years, like 2-3 years, to really know what I wanted to do. And it became clear it was food. And that's when I connected all the dots to the childhood and why I love food so much. So
We just develop these things along the way, they're like little parts of yourself that kind of quiet for a minute, but also just following that intuition of not being able to necessarily work. So then going to school and continuing to build your future, continuing to build your education and experience, so that when that little spark comes back around to say like, maybe food is for me, you have this very rich, very supportive resume.
Like Steve Jobs says, you cannot connect the dots looking forward, but when you look back, you can connect the dots. So it all works out.
We're back on Taste Utah at Saffron Valley's Sugar House location, where the menu is as dynamic as the regions of India themselves. From street food layered with sweet chutneys and crisp textures to slow simmered curries, tandoori specialties, fresh naan, and vibrant vegetarian dishes, every plate is built around balance, flavor, and the kind of nourishment that lingers long after the meal is over.
Indian food is special because of the spices that go into it and the process, which is slow cooking to develop the flavors. And originally, I think all of this food was developed in homes of India, and then as it travels around the world, for me, it's very nostalgic. Reminds me of my childhood and growing up and watching my grandmother and my mother and aunts all cook together in the kitchens and prepare food that's infused with love and care. And in India, community for sure. Food is how we show love to people. If you go into anybody's house in India, they first ask you, have you had your lunch? Have you had your dinner? Let me make something for you. So here is saag paneer, which is a spinach-based sauce, and paneer, which is a popular protein, vegetarian protein for vegetarians. And my favorite
Cheese.
dish
I
is
love
cheese.
it.
It's fresh made cheese. And then this is butter chicken, which is also another popular favorite. It's the tomato and fenugreek based sauce with grilled chicken. It's slightly smoke infused, so it has that smoky flavor. And here we have the tandoori malai broccoli, which is actually a new dish for our new location.
Oh.
That is a vegan malai kofta, which is available here as well as will be at Central.
Okay.
That's a very popular dish.
Oh yeah, like I want to try it. It sounds amazing.
It's malai kofta is a very popular North Indian dish where there's a lot of butter and cream and paneer.
Oh.
But this is made just vegetables and no cream, no butter.
That
so
is so fun. And then tell us about the puff pastry.
Yeah, this is a classic street food from India. It's popular from the western region of India. So Gujarat, Bombay is where the street foods are really popular. The little crisp puris filled with cucumber, onions, tomatoes, and filled with sweet yogurt, mint chutney, tamarind chutney, and topped off with some crisp save noodles and pomegranate. Then it's like a party in your mouth.
I love it.
With all the flavors.
It's so fun.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
But it means I can't talk for a minute. So
No, take
I'm
your
going to prompt you to tell me about the naan, how you make the naan, the process of it, and then the Bix goodies that we have.
So the naan is flatbread, and it's made in the clay oven, the tandoor clay oven. Comes from the northern region of Punjab. Traditionally, the tandoors are like a hole made in clay in the earth.
Yeah.
And that's where they used to create these hot, charcoal burning ovens. And
so smart.
since then, it's come a long way with the metal and the clay inside. But it was really invented by the women in Punjab. Yes.
Out of necessity.
Yeah.
Which most of the best things are.
Yeah.
So we've kind of gone over the breadth of the menu here at Saffron Valley. And now Bix, which is next door.
So it's a coffee shop that serves pastries and coffee drinks and chai, which is house-made. We make our own spice chai decoction with black tea and spices and ginger and cardamom. Then we have some frappes and cold coffees. Also, we have the cakes and the pastries are inspired by the European style of pastries. So they're light sponge cakes with different whipped cream and fresh fruit fillings. So they're very light and summery and tropical.
Nice.
And the sweetness we use in our cakes and pastries is like almost half is what you normally get. So they're not
overly sweet. Oh, I love that.
For the food menu, we have some breakfast items like our rice wrap and our morning melt sandwich. And then we have some classic sandwiches like Italian and BLT and caprese and some salads and all the good stuff.
And then this flew in to us a little earlier in our conversation, but you get to do this really fun photo printing. So you can come with a friend, you can come with a romantic partner and just surprise them and say, like, look what I made.
100%. Yeah, I love to see the joy on people's faces when they see their picture or their kids' picture or their pet's picture on the coffee. And we were the first ones to bring this to a coffee shop in Utah. We were doing a lot of research and found this cool gadget and we have to get it here. I think it's a nice addition to helping people experience joy in the moment. And so it has definitely been a great addition to our cafe here.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty good summation of what you do with your food, with your community endeavors. Who you are is experiencing joy in the moment and helping people to do that. And what we could all use in our lives a little more of is joy. And you can find it at the bottom of the rice bowl. You can find it at the bottom of your mango lassi. You can find it just infused in everything that you're doing here. And it's very, very clear that there is love, there is care, there is intention, and there really is this desire to contribute, to offer, and to be able to create a space where people can come and feel nourished, not only their body, but their mind and their soul. It's like you come in here and you just take a big, deep sigh and you feel home.
That is the highest compliment we've ever received. And so thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and for all your kind words and all you do in our community.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I would love to know Number one, looking back, I mean, you were just nominated, I believe, for a James Beard Restaurateur Award this last year, which is one of the highest honors you can get in the restaurant business. You've had successful restaurants, you've grown from those that maybe you needed to move on from, you've learned how to let go, all of these incredible journeys. What are you most proud of?
All my restaurants are, I used to call them my babies, because it literally took about 9 months to open one. And so in fact, my kids and I, we would name each location, a short pet name. It was that,
So
we were
cute.
that much into it, all of
love
us.
it.
And so they'll definitely be very special, but I think the most close to my heart, the project that I have been a part of and had the opportunity, it's not just my own credit, it takes a whole village, and I have a lot of people supporting this project, including our staff who do great work, is the Rice Culinary Institute, where it's just heartwarming to see these women come from all over the world, on a refugee status, and have, just staying home, hopeful that something will change and they could contribute meaningfully to their families, to themselves and the community, to bring them, to our Culinary Institute and provide them with free culinary training and skills of self-reliance, self-confidence, to show them what is possible and to ignite that spark in them is something that I cannot even describe when I see that joy of that work.
I mean, it's so inspiring. You are such an inspiration, and it is over food that we truly find our community, that we truly let down the guard to connect. It's the easiest way, I feel like, to teach anyone is to sit with them and do something that's so necessary, which is just to eat, but then to leave the table feeling nourished. Yes, from the food, but more so from the company, which is exactly this experience. And you are an incredible model for all of us on how to live our joy.
Yeah.
So just thank you so much. Thank you for this conversation, for your time, for all of the delicious food. And it's just been a joy.
Thank you. I feel the same about you. Thank you.
Thank you.